Good evening. This is Susan, and this is Susan's Ramblings. I want to touch base with you tonight, about some of the shortages we're going to have this winter and in the next spring, and probably even longer than that. So if you see me looking down, it's because I am looking at my notes. And believe me, there are lots and lots of shortages. Number one, and in no particular order, they're just as I came across them, okay? Number one is rice. I know, it's one of the staples, isn't it? It's been one food that everybody's been telling us to get. Rice and beans. Yeah. Rice is a food that is eaten almost world round, and a lot of countries depend on the rice for most of their calories. Our problem is those countries that produce the rice, for one reason or another, were not able to produce them this year, and those that produced them put an export ban on them. That means they are not exporting them to the United States or any other country. They're keeping them for their own people, and you really can't blame them for that. Rice is number one. Number two, wheat and flour. This comes about because of the war over in Europe. Both those countries are big producers, big exporters of wheat, and they stopped exporting as long as the war is going on. So we're short of flour, and I've been telling you this for months. Get your flour. The flour and wheat will not only affect lack of wheat will not only affect your flour, but it will also affect your pasta, your breads, and your cereals. It's a grain. And you'd be amazed at how many foods contain wheat. Even tomato soup contains wheat. And I learned this several years ago when I had a friend whose daughter was allergic to wheat. And we had a heck of a time trying to find foods that she could eat, because everything had wheat in it. Okay, so wheat. Number three, your corn. We've got the drought. Besides, the war over there cut down on the ingredients that we can use for fertilizer here in the United States. And corn is a heavy user of fertilizer. So not only the corn that we eat, but the corn that is fed to animals. And we were in problems before because we didn't have and because of our meats and so forth. But we're going to have even more problems now because they don't have the feed for them. So they'll be culling, and you can't blame them. Why should they go into debt? Again, more debt, in order to raise meat for us. Another thing, popcorn. Yes, popcorn. That's in short supply. Again, it's because of your fertilizer problem. Also, your droughts. Or some places were just plain water, or just plain washed out. My area of the country had so much rain this spring that our farmers weren't even able to get in the field until the end of May. That's 2 months behind time. So, yeah. Corn, popcorn, cornmeal, any kind of corn soup, corn oil, your vegetable oil. All that stuff is going to be in short supply simply because we were not able to raise enough corn. Number 4, onions. If you had told me 2 months ago that we would be facing a shortage of onions, I would have laughed at you. Of course, 2 months ago, I laughed every time another shortage came out because it seemed like they were bombarding us, and that if it wasn't so sad, it would actually be funny. Anyway, onions. Do you want your onions? Get them. Get minced onions. Get chopped onions. Get your dried onions. Dry them yourself. And dehydrate them yourself. Onions will be our next one. Tomatoes. Most of our tomatoes come from California. In fact, 90-some% of our tomatoes that are used in the United States come from California. And you know the drought they've had out there. So anything that has tomatoes, that's your tomato sauce, your spaghetti sauce, your pasta sauce, tomato paste, ketchup, any of that stuff can be in short supply. And we're talking ketchup, I may as well make mustard too. Mustard is going to be in short supply. I have bought plenty of ground mustard, and I got mustard seed, and I will make my own if I have to. I make sure every time I go to the store that I buy tomatoes, some kind of tomatoes, so I don't run out. Okay, next, eggs. Like crazy? You know, all of these foods that I'm mentioning, the eggs, the meat, I haven't got potatoes yet, but all of those things are standbys. Those are what we use to eat, what our meals are concerned with. They're used to fill our bellies. And these foods were all available during the Depression and during the World Wars. Yes, they were rationed, but they were available. And they were depended on, of course, it depended on whether you had the money for them or whether the soldiers needed them. But they were available. And now we're facing, well, we can't get them. They aren't there, period. And eggs, one of the things that are not there. In my area, it costs $5.78 for 18 eggs. And I use a lot of eggs in my cooking, in my baking, and all that stuff. So get your eggs and freeze them, or get powdered eggs. And yes, I know they're expensive, but when you run out of eggs, what are you going to do? Chickens and turkeys. That's because of the avian flu that went around, supposedly, last spring, where they killed all our chickens and our turkeys. So if you want turkey for Thanksgiving or for your holidays, if it's available, if you have it, if you see it, if you find it, make sure you pick up a couple, because it might not be there when your Thanksgiving and holidays come. And while I'm talking about the holidays, chocolate chips, chocolate, cocoa, all that stuff will be in short supply. So will sugar, so will flour. So if you need that stuff, get it now while you can, because it might not be there tomorrow. Okay? Another thing. Beef. We all know our problems with beef. I haven't bought beef for so long that I don't even know what it tastes like anymore. At least not the roast or the steaks or anything like that. I will break down and I will buy hamburger when it comes on sale. Now the other day we had hamburger that were $2.99 a pound. It was the big tubes, but at that time I didn't care, and I canned it all up, so it's on my shelves. So beef. Along with beef, you got dairy, butter, cheeses, milks. Make sure you have lots of milk, canned milk, dried milk. Have your cheese blend, dried cheeses. Butter. I had somebody just say, if you don't have 50 pounds of butter in your freezer, you're not a prepper. Well, I don't have 50 pounds in my freezer, but it is $7 and some cents a pound up here in my area. $7 and some cents a pound. That's ridiculous. And I will not buy it at that price. I will buy when it goes on sale. And yes, I have some in my freezer. And yes, I'm going to make G into it, because that means it will last for at least 5 years. But hopefully with the holiday season coming up and the baking season coming up, it will go on sale like it has every other year. Not guaranteeing you're going to get them for $2 or $3 a pound, but at least I won't be paying $7 a pound for them. So I will stock up then, and I mean I will really stock up then. So I will have enough to get me through. If you have cheeses, if you like cheese, make sure you get it. You can dehydrate cheese. It's quite complicated. Not an easy process, but it can be done. Okay. If you happen to have a freeze dryer, you've got it made. Freeze dry it. Or wax it. At least the hard waxes. At hard cheeses. Or learn to make your own. Get your milks. Your powdered milks. Your canned milks. Even get sweetened condensed milk. Yes, I know it's extra sweet, but you can always use it. Get your cocos, your hot chocolate mixes. Get your coffees cappuccinos if you want it. That stuff's all going to be in short supply. Another thing that's going to be in short supply, cotton and thread. I don't know how many of you sew, but excuse me, you should at least know how to sew on a button or make simple repairs. And cotton thread is going to be in short supply. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. And I just heard this the other day, and I was just kind of like, what else now? Peaches. Do you like peaches? That's my favorite food, I think. You know what? They're in short supply because they froze last spring. So we have to wait for another year for them to produce. Huh, isn't that funny? Okay, got that. Coffee. That's been in short supply for a while. Get your coffees. Oh, what else have I got? Avocados. And your hot chilies. That's because they come from Mexico, most of them. And for some reason, the United States has stopped exporting them. I don't know, importing them. Importing them. I have no idea what the government is doing there. I'm really not sure. I want to know what they're doing. Garden seeds are going to be in short supply. They're in stock now. And yes, there's issues. And they will expire, supposedly, on December 31st. But you know, they are viable for many, many years. So buy them, get them, and put them aside. So at least you can grow your food next year. I mentioned sugar. Sugar is going to be here. Potatoes. We're still working on last year's potatoes harvest. And this potato harvest will not be very well. In fact, they planted less potatoes this year than they've ever planted. So we've got them. Chickpeas. Yes, they're beans. Okay. And my guess is they're going to say beans within a couple of weeks. Anyway, those are the shortages we're dealing with as of today. I would say stock up on them. But there are so many of them that you're just going to have to prioritize and get what you use. Me, I'm concentrating on flour. I'm concentrating on sugar. I'm concentrating on tomatoes, potatoes, onions, and dairy. Those are the ones I'm concentrating on. Those are the ones you will see me getting haul after haul after haul. I will slip in the rest of these things as we go along. But my majority of them are those areas. Have a great day. God bless.